So yes, we are live. We are live, my people, live from Europe, Germany. As you can already see, you can already begin to notice the difference. The quality of stream, the quality of everything, right? So, I mean, if you're joining, make sure you're clicking the share button and inviting one another to join us on this first ever conversation 2023 on Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tatah. I have a lot of good news to share with you. And today we have a very special guest that we're waiting to connect to us, Femi Akinbee, who is one of the best economists worldwide, sitting right there in the United States, Nigerian born. And we want to question, what is he doing there with all the skills? Instead of taking them back to Nigeria to develop the community in Africa, he is working for non-African institutions and the governments out there. So yes, today is going to be a hot conversation. Make sure you are joining, you are clicking, you're inviting one another, because today it's a fire show. Like I said, it's the first ever conversation that we'll be having on the Pan-African Daily TV on the 7th of January 2023. This is also a very important date in the family of the Tatars, and particularly us here in Germany, as our first son, Tumi Tatah, clocks 23 today. So every 7th of January is always a unique opportunity for the Tatars to celebrate, and to thank the Most High for giving us this cutest, handsome, smart guy, Tumi Tatah Kenyuifon. We wish you a happy birthday. Yeah, so while you are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tatah, the Africa we want, unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa. Wonderful, my wonderful people. How are you doing? I mean, according to the Gregorian calendar, I want to exceptionally welcome you again and say Happy New Year to all of you that are celebrating out there. Some of you who said, you made promises and say 2023 is going to be another year. Us on the Pan-African Daily TV, we are also agreeing to that, as 2023 is going to be a very special year for Africans worldwide, because there's just a lot of good things happening to Africans. There's just a lot of good things happening. So yes, and this year we're going to be having a lot of special guests, very special guests, the type of guests you've never seen before. They just always around you. They are doing the big work for Africa, but for non-Africa companies, corporations, governments, just working for other institutions that are non-African. And so that kind of guest with the highest skills and technology, those that will stay on the fattest paycheck. And because of the too much money that they earn, they withdraw. They kind of like, I can work because I can get paid. And these are the kind of guests that we're going to be interrogating them on the Pan-African Daily TV in 2023 and asking them just one question. What are you doing in serving other nations apart from your own nation? Okay. So I want to find out how all of you have been feathering with your families back there. I know you had a wonderful celebrations. I see it. I feel it. I heard it. Okay. I heard it. And yes, I already can see you in your numbers connecting from wherever you're connecting, to be on this conversation tonight. Like I said, hey, you better not miss this one, okay? You better not miss this one. And never mind, as you see, we test our studio equipments while I was out of Germany. Everything was perfect. but now you can already see the act up. It's just because of the network in Germany, and particularly in my village where I'm living, in a very quiet, spatial place where I love it so much. You know, coming from nature, from Mother Nature, Africans love nature a lot, so we can only stay where we are. I love to greet every other person while we're waiting on our special guest for tonight, Mr. Femi Akinbee. Mr. Femi Akinbee, I already shared a lot of information with you to understand what kind of a personality and a character is this human being that is going to be talking to us tonight. And so, one tip, if Professor James Small would recommend a guest, then you can already understand what kind of a guest he is, isn't it? Yeah, so tonight is the night where we're going to break 2023 and open the gate for abundance for all Africans worldwide, and to say, hey, it is the doable year. It is the year where we get it done. It is the year where we put all our talks into action. It is the year where we create the Africa that we want, whether we like it or not. And so I'm particularly talking to you youth. You remember my New Year revelation speech to you guys, and I said, wake up, because 2023, a lot is going on. A lot is going. Every nation, continent, needs something from Africa, and they're so aggressive in getting it. They want to chop again. They want to steal again. Okay, they want to manipulate again. They want to steal again. I said it. Okay, so you Africans, you need to wake up. And like I said, the kind of guest that we'll be bringing here in 2023 is a no joke. This is a year where we're not just going to smile and just talk about things. We're going to interrogate, really great Africans that are in the diaspora and just wasting and following money and working to just end their livings and forget about their question and their continent and their people. It will not happen again. So most of the time we'll be talking about leadership. We've been talking about the leaders. We've been talking about the head of state. But a lot of Africans are massive leaders, competent, smart, intelligent. They have all the know-how. They selected all these powerful brains, brought them into the diaspora and locked them up in this diaspora. And they just busy working their money. And while the voices of the voiceless, the marginalized people who don't have the opportunities, sit here day and night and talk about solutions for Africa, these ones are just like, I don't even know what they're talking about. They're in their comfort zone. You know, they drive Bentleys and Maseratis and all what you can imagine. If you look at their houses, and so those are the kind of skills and brains that we're talking, that Africa needs them. And these are the kind of guests that we're going to be bringing here on the Pan-African Daily TV 23 to question them, to interrogate them, to hold them accountable. Because instead of working for their nations, they are working for non-African corporations and governments. And most of them are big consultants. So what are they consulting for? Giving access to information about their continent and the resources and the people. What are they consulting? So we want to know, what is it that Africa should be doing now? What is it that Africans should be doing? Who are the Africans that matter a lot, that would have been doing that change? They fold their arms and they keep bashing and making excuses and complaining on the leadership and the governance and the presidents. These presidents need your support on the continent. Yes, they need all of us. Okay, we're gonna man up, build the Africa that we want, and we begin to choose who to do business with or not. So I'm just waiting. If Femi Akinbee is ready, I'm gonna bring him on the show and we just start up. Yes, okay, that is what is gonna happen. I want to salute you, Kojo Eduafo. I know we all miss ourselves. I can see Anthony Ray Slaughter. Where are you guys watching from? We are waiting for the biggest guest tonight who has to open the conversation 23. All right, 2023 is no joke. Thank you, Deborah. Deborah, Happy New Year to you. You're watching from Hartford, Connecticut, USA. Thank you so very much. Hazel Watkins, you say good evening, doctor. Good evening to all of you. Anthony Slate Ray, Thank you. Agula from Angola. Thank you so much. All of you are getting connected. I haven't seen the Pan-African Daily TV senior executive teams here. I don't know whether they're sleeping. Ponwa Zinga say our wife, Dr. Susan Tatah. Yes, our husbands. Okay. I'm so happy to be here with you. African Lastborn, thank you so much, my brother. If I didn't see your face here, I would have really been questioning. Abdurrahim Mohammed, thank you for watching from Egypt. And yeah, I'm just waiting. Like I'm saying, I'm waiting for our guest. But like I already told you, Femi Akinbee is one of the biggest economists. The biggest economist in terms of development, I mean, competence. He is a public speaker, an author, a mentor. I mean, everything that you can imagine, this guy has it. He knows in and out. If we talk about leadership, governance, I mean, there's no country, there's no president on earth that Femi hasn't talked to or has connection to. All right. He is the power in the house. And you know what? His office is the next office to the White House, the powerhouse of the United States of America. He's the neighbor, the closest neighbor. So you can imagine. So if the United House, the White House of the United States of America is number 50, Femi Akinbee office is 51. That's how close it is. So isn't it questionable? Isn't it questionable? And we see how they're trying to drain our riches, our powerful brains from the continent of of Africa, from the United States of Africa. Someone is saying, Anthony Slay, you know, Ray is saying, and so these big brains are somewhere doing something that has nothing to do with Africa's business or working for non-African corporations in the name of Africa. And so we see most of them, they're black faces like you and me working in these offices. But who are they serving? Who are they actually working for? So we want to interrogate them. Why we say all the diaspora should bring their skills back at home. And we see some of them comfortably sitting here in the diaspora and serving other purposes apart from their nation. Anyway, Femi Akinbee is not one of them. He's one of the biggest brothers that I know that is so die-heartedly for his people, and he has the solutions, the kind of solutions that he's been giving it to non-African corporations. That's why they are making really big-time investments and connections and partnerships in Africa. He could equally turn that kind of competence, you know, to serve Nigeria, Yoruba, his land where he comes from, and why not Africa? Femi Akinbee is one of the first brains that actually connected and they built the South Sudanese Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? And has been sitting on the board for more than 20 years as an advisor. Do you hear me? That's just the list of this personality that we're bringing here tonight, my dear compatriots and comrades from all across the world. So yes, we have to hold ourselves accountable. 2023, African now and forever, or African now or never. So yes, I begin to see my people in the house. Tulane, thank you. So my mother, that's my son. Thank you so very much. And we have the first ever senior executive member here. Dr. Sherry Penny is in the house, taking over the moderation exactly as Kojo Edouard. You're going to be responsible for moderating the chat from now. And while we connect and get all the other comrades and compatriots and volunteers in the chat room, make sure we are connecting already. Yes. Thank you so much. I see Kojo already greeting, you know, Cheryl, Dr. Cheryl. Thank you for being here. Africa Last Bones, you can also. Yes, we have enough brains. What we need is a collective agenda, a mission to rebuild our destroyed kingdoms. Exactly. But if the brains are out here busy working money and taking care of themselves, you know, we are one of that platform and that government and that leadership that we would have to start chasing the diaspora out of these comfort zones to go and build Africa and make it great for all of us, isn't it? Africa has given to all of us, and it's time for us to give back to Africa. And there's no negotiation in this. Why we sit here and enjoy and blame the leaderships and blame the presidents instead of helping them, you know, to build the Africa we want. We are here and only accusing them of bad governance while we are just comfortably making our money. And the biggest thing we can do is open our mouths and talk all the time. It's never going to be like that. 2023 is business or never. If you're an African, I can already tell you that. All right. Make sure you're well seated. So we have our director, our expert here, the big guy, Femi Akinbee, is right in the place seated. Mark this name, research this personality, okay? And you're going to know a lot. For those of you that are not new here, Femi Akinbee is not, it's not the first time, that is not the first phase that we are seeing here. And like I said, if Professor James Small would give up his seat of being here today and put Femi Akinbee to be on this seat, so you already know what we're talking about, people. It is the year of wake up. It is the year of now or never, or forward forever for all Africans. So welcome, my brother, my big brother, and my excellency. Can you hear me out there? Femi, can you hear me? Can you hear me? You can hear, yes, you hear me, but I can hear you. And I guess if I cannot hear you audibly, audience can hear you. I just hear a little bit of sound. Can you reconnect? Because your volume is damn low. Nobody even understands you out there. Am I right? Audience, can you just give me a word, a shout out, give me a yes or a no? Unmute? No, everybody's unmuted. Are you hearing me perfectly well out there? I'm talking to my champions out there watching me. Anthony Ray is saying we need our brothers and sisters born in America to help. We need everyone. Every African matters. Every handsome day. We have to go to war. Every African, whether in the diaspora or out of the diaspora, would have to leave and go back for this war. Okay? So it's not only the Africans born in America. We need everyone. Even you on the continent. We need everyone. Okay? So yes. Yes, we need everyone. Dr. Cheryl, you're welcome here. Dr. Kojo, you're welcome here. Thank you so very much. You hear me? So you see, I think it is the connection of our brother Femi. Femi, let me try this other connection and see if I can get it. Oh, yes, we hear you. Wonderful. Perfect.
Okay.
The connection is perfect. I mean, as for us, everything is always good.
All right.
All right. We are so happy to have you here. You've been hearing me throwing all the flowers and kind of like interrogate and question a lot of facts about you. We know you as one of the strongest brains in terms of economics and development. We know you as one of the pioneers sitting on one of the corporations and governments and leaderships and that proposes and also advise on infrastructural development. We know that you were one of the initiator or the facilitator of the Sudanese, South Sudanese Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and you've been doing a lot. But not only that, Femi, I know you as the biggest guy that understands everything that has to do with our culture, our history, everything, music, business, dance. You are the greatest public speaker that I know, the greatest mentor, the greatest author. I mean, I don't know how I can say this again. So the one question that Africans are just asking is only one. What is this kind of a big brain to get you back, to mentor and for Africa? Can you hear me? If you hear me, just go on.
I can hear you.
Yes. Wonderful. So go ahead, Femi, if you can hear me.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank Dr. Susan for the introduction. My name again is Femi Akinbee. For the record, I am the Director of Private Sector Development and Diaspora at Manchester Trade LLC, a Washington-based company. We are at 2200 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest, a few blocks from the White House. We're not next door, we're 3 blocks. But having said that, I'd like to greet all of you listening and say Happy New Year to all of us. And greetings from my ancestors, because without them, I'm not here. I greet you, all of you, for the effort to come forward to see what do we do with the African continent. The reason I come forward to speak or to be a part of this process is that everywhere that we have found ourselves as Black Africans, we have found out that we are at the bottom of all social, economic, political, religion, and military system globally. And we are moving around at this bottom, that we are content with it. I think the time has come, after 3,000 years of European domination of the African continent, that this time has come for the African to reassemble ourselves economically for ourselves. To that end is where I'm stepping forward to discuss what is going on with the Africans, who we are, where are we, where do we really come from, and where do we go from here? Those are the fundamental questions that needs to be answered. The question of who we are, we know that the Black Africans are the first on the planet. We separated food from poison for mankind. We gave the first alphabet. We gave language. We gave numbers. Our ancestors are the first one to think about God as something outside of us. The first scientists were the people who study nature. The first medicine or medical person were the people who studied the animal, how the medicine the animal used to treat themselves, and so on and so forth. So we know that we come from a great good deal of knowledge and history. But the question becomes, how do we find ourselves where we are today? How is it that anywhere we are, from Cape to Cairo, there's a ghetto? Why is it that we own the most valuable real estate on the planet and we have zero? Why is it that we sit on the biggest raw materials that control everything on the earth and we don't control it? Why is it that the people who have the greatest raw materials to back their currency have the most worthless currency on earth? Africa have 23 worthless currency that's not even used to trade in anywhere on earth. So the question then becomes, how do we become this bottom of the barrel? And what do we do to help ourselves and help our generation behind us? I think for someone like me, it's not about confrontation. Where I come from in Yoruba land, Bitu land once said, if
All right. I'm actually sorry for that interruption. And you see, we're going to be getting a lot of these hinges, particularly in the periods of winter like this. So please, I do crave on your indulgence and your patience. And you know, our work on the Pan-African Daily TV has never been a walk in the park, as all of you do know. So I don't know the kind of challenges, and that's even the one reason that kept us waiting for long. But you can imagine, I'm sitting right here at our help desk stop in Germany, and he is there in New York. I left New York 2 days ago and arrived last night, and everything was perfect. But I just don't understand the 5G systems and technology that they have out there, and it's been kicking out. So one thing is very certain: we are at war, people. That's just what I wanted to make you understand. The biggest brains that we're going to be talking to and bringing them on the Pan African Daily TV, we're going to be experiencing all this. And you can already see, even on your screens, when I look at my Facebook page, on the other side where I see my sister Odilia Chindo watching me. If you look on the screen, it's just 5 people watching. But guess what I'm seeing in the studio here? So we are at war. We are at a war of degrading, of marginalizing, on shutting our mouth, and so that we cannot rise. But it's unfortunate. Africa is already awoke, and we are ready. We are ready to take Africa to the next level. We're ready than never before. You can count on the generation of the Africans that are woke right now that is never going to be business with any country that messes up with Africa. No way. It's not going to happen. Whether you're shutting us down or you're reducing our viewership or you are destabilizing the technique, we're going to gong. We will sound the drums from the hills of Timbuktu and everyone will come out because it's time for Africa, and nobody, no system, no government, no one is going to stop this. Okay, 2023 is fire up. So please make sure that you are sharing the screen because we are ready. Yes, we are ready. I asked this question one of the first shows that we did on Pan African Daily. I said, Africa, you've never gone to war with yourself. What is wrong with you? What if we try this time? So if we see the movie The Woman King, it's already a preparation. Remember, everything we watch it first in the movie. And so we're going to go to war with ourselves, with the sellout, and those that are enslaving and facilitating all the systems. It never would be again the same. And remember, this is the Africa we want. Go to Agenda 2063. Before we get to 63, we have to start the planning today. And that's what we're doing on the Pan African Daily TV in the sector of education. We cannot continue to be beggars. We will not continue to not be at the table. We will not continue to sit and watch and live and see our brains, our children die across the Mediterranean. We will not be a continent that produces the highest level of oil and electricity and all the streets and no networks and connection, no 5Gs on the continent of Africa. It never would be the same again. And even the African leadership are making it very sound and clear. If we would have to work together with whatever partnerships that we're building, we have to make sure that we respect the voices of the Africans. It is stated in the Constitution and in the Agenda 2063 of the Africa Union, which 50 states sat and they signed it and say, you, the world and partners of Africa, make sure you respect the voices of the Africans because it's our time. We had given all the privileges. We had worked for all nations to develop them for what they are today. And so now it's time for Africa. If all humanity came from Africa and is coming from Africa, then why should Africa not develop according to its principles? So yes, that's what we're talking today. No matter what, I told you, it's not about all Africans in the United States, all Africans in the Caribbean, all Africans in the continent. It's every hands on deck. We see the world is not going to be normal again, isn't it? How many presidents left for the U.S. Africa Summit? We're going to get Ambassador Tony Jaja tell us about the processes. Okay. So yes, it would not be as usual. It is now or never. Let me see whether our brother is back.
I'm here.
Thank you. Wonderful. Wonderful. Your ancestors just brought you back. So you were saying something very powerful. Go ahead, my brother.
What I was simply saying that the Africans all over the world, we have a negative historical inheritance based on the activities of chattel slavery, colonialism, and post-colonialism, and the issue of what we are contending with. And the issue is that 3,000 of brutality, trading on human flesh, traumatizing us for thousands of years. The last 400 years in this hemisphere has been based on our need for the system or the economical system here to use the labor of the Africans without paying for it for 400 years. And while we are talking about some of this information, I decided to slow down a little bit so other people could get the drift of what I'm saying. Say, for example, in the continent where we come from, a lot of us are pseudo-educated. We think we're educated because we have a PhD from Yale or Harvard. The bottom line is that most of us are miseducated. 99% of us does not even know the word capitalist came from. And we pound our chest to say we have a degree in economics. The word capitalist came after the first industrial revolution. During the first industrial revolution, all you need is the land and the labor to grow cotton and harvest what you want. Post that there was a need to generate heavy machinery and then create a need for capital formation that never existed before. And then the question becomes, how do you get this money to put capital together to build power plant and machinery plants for bigger machines? An individual person do not have this money. What they simply did was get the list of the slave owners. They're the bigger the slave owner and the land, the more capital he or she will have. And a list of them, and the word capital and list was adjoined together. That's why we come up with capital list. And for the Africans who does not have a historical perspective properly, you have to then understand that before our encounter with the Europeans, Africa had capitalism, socialism, and communism under the same system. It was a wholesome, functional system before it was dispersed during slavery. I can go on some of this subject matter. The thing is that the key thing I'm asking us to look into this is, I'm a little bit jumping ahead of myself because I have so much information to unpack, and I don't think there's going to be enough time. Take, for example, most of us Africans take an airplane or fly an airplane, but most of us does not know that's a technology came from our ancestors. That over 6,000 years ago, that the Africans studied the dolphin fish, not the bird. A dolphin fish is your airplane. If you go look at the fin, the wing, and how it flies, run inside water, then you know that's the dolphin fish. Your ancestors did not stop there. They left a note for us. They say at the below, so it is above. And then if it's not because of the Dogon people of Mali, there won't be no airplane flying anywhere. We were the one who aligned and named all the celestial and the lineage out there in the cosmic. Are you with me? So Africans have so much background, and we also knew that we were the first one here, and every person here are our descendants. That we could prove also.
It is like you said, it is a miseducation. I mean, let's just come back now to the basics, because that one is something that we'll have to dwell and continue to dwell on it. You're just touching on the point. So what is it in 2023 that Africans should be doing that we've not been doing before?
Well, one, we need to strengthen our institutions. We're at the point of human history where we are sitting at the vote. Everything is erupting, getting disrupted right in front of us. We may not see it immediately, but those of us who is in this industry knows that something is going on. Why? There's something called the blockchain platform. The word is block as BLOCK, blockchain. Is a technology that is a disruptive technology that is coming down the pipe. And I'm suggesting that all Africans globally enhance this technology, embrace this technology, take advantage of this technology. It's been around for about 7 years. It's only now getting put into use. Part of it, of what a lot of people are aware of, is the cryptocurrency, which is running on that blockchain platform. It's basically a third party, a non-verification system by third party. And that's what blockchain basically. So what could this do for Africa? If the youth of the African continent can get their government and push them enough to be a digital frontier in this fourth industrial revolution. I didn't finish my subject on the first industrial revolution that brought me to capitalism before we jump here. But I'll get back to there at some point. If the African youth could get their elders or force their way into a digital African platform, governmental platform, 80% of the African problems will go away instantly. I'll give you an example. In Nigeria, we have what we call ghost employment. People who does not work, who does not have a job, are still collecting checks from the government, sometimes for 20, 30 years. If you put this blockchain platform in it, you have something called the algorithm. It will not let it go. It was like, hey, you didn't work for 20 years, so you're not getting the check. Secondly, it could be used for procurement. Something is going to be purchased by the government. Instead of being corrupt, it could be an open, transparent process. In the area, I mean, the list go on and on the highest level. I think the African continent should come up with a cryptocurrency based on our raw material and back with some of our other raw materials in the hard currency. And then we should individually, as a group of people, use that to finance all our projects.
It is as good as it sounds. And I am just a village girl in my village community. They don't have food, they don't have road, they don't have water. They study, they come out like engineers, like advanced level, like first school, like whatever, and they cannot feed themselves. What on earth is blockchain going to do for these communities of the marginalized? We need an action plan and an economic plan, or we go to war.
Now, you're right, my sister.
No, hold on. Go ahead.
I didn't know how much time we're going to have for the deliverance of what I was going to give. For example, the African economical system is pseudo because we're getting validated by other people. The African continent only needs about 7 things for survival from where we are. What are the basic 7 things that a human needs every day? Where do you wake up in the morning? A house. So you need some structure to cover rain and the weather element. Inside the house, when you get up, where do you go? You get up, you go to the bathroom, so you need water. If you go to the bathroom, what do? You switch off the light. You need electricity. If you get from that, you take your shower, what do you need? You need food. When you get food, then you go to clothing. Then after your clothing is transportation. And then the only thing you really need from the government is security. That's the basic need of the African continent. Anybody is selling us, they're rocket scientists because we don't need all those things they're selling us. So where do we start from? Agriculture is the base, land is the base of all economics. And by the way, if I back up a little bit, what is underneath us, which is called the land, is the base of all our human struggle. How do we convert what is underneath us and how do we distribute it? That's just the base of all the global economical system. And some people got in front of it, manipulated to the advantage, went into slavery, took some people as slaves, used that capital to build an economy, build a security system called the police and the military to support it, to maintain it. And by the way, the economical system we are using here is birthed and maintained by the sweat and the blood of the Africans globally to tomorrow. It is us that build all the roads that you are looking at. All the structure in the US we built. Nobody compensates us. And now we're at the time of human history where the ruling class in the Western Hemisphere here are telling us they don't want to hear about woke. W-O-K-E. It's a word that simply means you are conscious about the suffering of other people's discrimination. If the people we are dealing with on the political front of the United States winning governorship and election based upon this indifferent to other people's needs, then it is time then for the Africans by ourselves develop our own economical infrastructure. The 2 biggest things we are dealing with, we are using other people's soft infrastructure that is not ours. That infrastructure was put together for our own demise. Second, we're using the hard infrastructure that direct everything we do back to the same person. At some point, and that point is now, the Africans globally must set up our own economical system, our own financial scheme, a database of all our skills set all over the world. I am a Nigerian, by the way, and I hear a lot in the media here. Nigerians are the most educated immigrant on earth in the US. Clap, clap, clap. But the flip part of that coin, they are not telling you, that's a brain drainage to the African continent. That's a brain drainage to Nigeria. That's a brain drainage to the village where all these people come from. The question is, how can we return? The return is going to be very difficult. I'm kind of diverting to other subjects that I was not going to go into yet. But if you look at the currency exchange rate, then you will realize that all Africans globally are bound to go into slavery in the next 500 years if time is not, if proper care is not taken. Why? When I left Nigeria, the exchange currency of the US was 1 to 2. If I have 1 naira Nigerian money, I get $1.86, which is about $2 US. Today, that same money is 750 minus reverse to 1. People do not understand mathematically what this means. What that means is what will take me 1 year to earn before, now it's going to take over 1,000 years. It's bleeding the living standard of the people and siphoning to the advanced nations at the expense of the local Africans. And we, the Africans, haven't got hold of ourselves some of these things.
Most of the time when we're talking about what Africa needs in terms of development, nobody mentions the military, a military base to create, also start creating nuclear, everything that is malicious. Why not?
Well, there's a saying in the area where I'm from. They say, if you find your head in the mouth of a lion, you don't move it too quickly. You move it out gradually. In other words, guns, germs, and steel. By the way, as I talk along today, I might mention a few books for the youth among us to pick on. So if I'm mentioning guns, germs, and steel, it's a book. That means that Africa does not control our economics. We don't control our own weaponry system, and we don't control our own medicine system. So we're really, the real bottom really fact, there are no countries in the African continent. We have colonial states marinating themselves as a country. We have flags and siren. If anybody decides to take over Nigeria today, how is Nigeria stopping the weaponry? How could you be competing against the person you are buying weapons from and want to compete? Take a look at the summit we just had when about 50 African head of state come to meet with one person. And the 50 African head of state that came in didn't come with a regional agenda, a group agenda, i.e., we're all just going to focus on electricity for the whole region this time. We want nothing else from the US. I.e., we take 80% in electricity or energy. They came empty-handed to come and negotiate individually. 50 countries against one. Some of this country's size is so small, the population of the educated populace in that country could be counted on few hundreds. And yet they're coming to compete with the country the size of the US by themselves. Secondly, each individual of this group must compete against one another for attention. Because if you come for a summit and you don't bring nothing back home, you look like a failure. So you want to put, I guess, what am I saying? 50 against 1 is a losing battle for the African. The African should have come up with one agenda, in my opinion, only. Ask the US government to do for Africa what the European group did for Germany after the Second World War by giving them the German Mutual Fund to develop their infrastructure. The amount of disadvantage that the African continent sits on and the amount of hard infrastructure needed to repair the past damage, because the earlier infrastructure were not meant or built for the Africans. It was only built to take stuff out from the African continent to the port so the Europeans could take it and use it. Now, we have to now learn to come and build our own stuff. And this is where we're getting stagnated in the sense that anytime we have big projects, we have to go to the Western world, i.e., IMF, World Bank, and so on and so forth. And the history have told us, our record indicates that these are not a helping organization to the African continent, that the economical hitment is working among the midst of these people to take over the advantage of the African continent. Then the question becomes, who is on our steering wheel is empty. Those who are running the African continent are devoid of their African history. They do not have a global compass of where we are and where we need to go. So we have a lot of things to unpack. I do not know how much of it in this short period we're going to be able to touch, but as we go along, I'll be willing to address some of them.
You're saying something, and you, I mean, in your new functions, when after serving these corporations, and you, when I look at you, when I listen to Professor James Moore, what he spoke about you, like Femi knows everything, the in and out. So, and you're coming under your new brand, actually giving away everything to work for your race and the African. You say you are the Africanist, the global voice of Africa and the African diaspora in terms of economies. Am I correct?
That's correct, almost. I try my best to represent the interests of the African, past, present, and the future. And I also like you to know I represent of that interest from the crack house to the White House and everything in between, and I have a uniform for it.
Wonderful. So I'll come back to you on the question of, you said, I mean, we've seen you do those big things. And the simple question is, when we always say the leadership on the continent or the leadership in the diaspora, who are we referring to?
Mhm. So when we are dealing with us as Africans, we have to be very, very careful by the definition we use, the effect of trauma on the African people globally, and the response of different individuals based on their physical makeup, environmental, social condition, and their class of assistance determine how they respond to some of this trauma. And sometimes this trauma leaves us into about maybe between 5 and 6 different camps. One of those camps are at the beginning, some people just get tired. They've been beaten down so bad, they just assimilate into the system. We call those the assimilators. Down the line, there are some of them, they say, okay, they can't take this more. I'm going to integrate. So they join, move to the white people's place. Let's join together, they integrate. Those are the second group. The third group are the group that I call autopilot people. We have a different word for them. But these are a group who are conscious about the issue of the continent. They see that the black race is down everywhere they are, but they are bought into the global materialistic dream of a house, 2 cars, a garage, and so they chasing bill and they don't have time. We call those the autopilot. If you leave those other guys, then you go to the revolutionists. People say, gee, how could they get us this bad? This is not working. Let's F it up and start from scratch. You have the Malcolm X of our life. Then when you live from that revolutionist, then you have the universalist who is saying, gee, why are you all in a rush? All of this will take care of himself later if we just give it time. So depending on the camp, each of us fall into all of these categories, depending on how we make decision. If you're a person of an African heritage or of a black skin, you think you are successful. At the end of the year, you write a tax check to a non-profit organization like Red Cross. You went home and you felt good that you did something. But if you are very historically educated, you will then understand that your people are still at the vast disadvantage, that the people you need to help first are your own. I guess what I'm saying, the bottom line for all the African all over earth, know thyself first. We must know ourselves before we could interact with other people. Africans globally, we're lost people. We're lost culturally. We're lost economically. We're lost politically. And we have lost our mind. Why? If we haven't lost our mind, how could we go back to the same people historically that are proven without data to prove that all of these things have done to us? And this group of people refuse to repair the damage they've done to us. And now they arrogantly say they don't even want to hear about it. And foolish us, we're now going back again, begging the same people. What Africans in this Americans need and the African globally needs is within our grasp, is within our reach. The amount of income the Africans make in this hemisphere, if it was a country, it would be the seventh largest economy on earth, bigger than Canada. But yet at the end of the year, we end up with nothing. Why? Our brain has been stolen. And to those of you who do not believe me, you may want to read Stolen. I'll give you some books as we go along. But our brain has been stolen. You may want to listen to Dr. Durugu on her issue of race and the trauma of race.
Thank you very much, sir. I mean, this is really peculiar in what you're saying, but I keep asking myself, so when are we going to wait for all of us to get healed, for all of us to wake up, for all of us to get to a point where we say, okay, now we are ready? No. I mean, there's not going to be any perfect point. If I look at the million followers that Pan-African Daily TV has, and these are all hungry people for the unification of Africa so that we can deliver ourselves. That is not a small amount of. And if I look at all the conscious platforms that are emanating from all sources, whether on the continent, if I look at the social media today, it's all black. Everybody is talking about not just the black in terms of their skins, even, the Caucasians that have been following up, that are also hungry to get onto the continent, or they buying land massively and getting out of their zones to go somewhere else, are also in that fight. So my problem is, when are we actually going to say enough is enough?
That is a $1 million question, and it's a $1 million challenge for the Africans globally. Post-colonial, post-slavery, mentally, the Africans' mental state have been flipped. We've been bamboozled, we've been traumatized, and we have not been healed. The question we have to address now for ourselves is how we suffer from three or so areas that we need to address. We have what is called fragmented consciousness and scattered identity. That means that I'm a Ghanaian, you're a Nigerian, we don't forge. And the level of our consciousness is not in the same place at the same time, because depending on where you are, what age group you are, what you are doing, your economical position, depending on how much attention you could pay to these things. All of these things are the things that we still have to address before we could move forward.
I am of that. I do agree partially, but I do think the conscious one will not wait for the unconscious. Something has to be done immediately. And I know you have the solution, Femi. I know.
I think
I know you.
I think what from on my end here, in spite of all our disadvantages that I've mentioned, some which I know most of us are aware of, the good news for us is one, the population of the globe in the next 10 years, majorities are African youth. Close to, I'm always saying maybe a third of all the youth coming gonna be Africans. So they're gonna dominate the population. That's one. Two, the interest in this blockchain platform, otherwise called crypto, that African countries should be leapfrogged into the front of it. It will allow us to collect data of our professionals all over the world in one place. It will allow us to know how much income each of us make and how we spend it. It will allow us to do capital formation by ourselves if we choose to go that direction. And more importantly, in the cryptocurrency, it's a disruptive system that allows those who have been discriminated against to be free. This actually came from a book a long time ago titled Power Shift by Alvin Toffler, where he spelled out that the power of big organizations like government is going to move to individual in the computer age. That's what we have now. But we, the Africans, haven't been able to use it effectively to assemble what we need. We need a good brain trust to set up a sketch for us. Take, for example, as I'm speaking to you now, the Black Congressional Caucus of the U.S. are the most powerful political group among black people on earth, if we like it or not, based on population, based on the access in the system. The Black Congressional Caucus supposed to be able to look into interests of Africa, but most of them are not even aware. Why? They did not come from the indoctrination like the Jewish people come through. Until the Africans in this hemisphere start to treat Africa the way the Jewish people treat Israel, Africa will never be free. Until we start to put the retirement fund from this end into Africa, then we want to know who is the president, who is going to steal the money, then we will make sure there's an efficient system. If there is a data system enough, clearly enough, then election could never be rigged again, because the disruptive system through this blockchain platform will not let you rig an election. These are the benefits of some of the things coming. But your question of what does the small people do and how does blockchain help the small people was your question. I didn't have a chance to answer before. This is what the blockchain platform could do for a small person in Africa. Take a farmer that grows just cassava. He or she have about, say, 10 pounds of cassava a year, whatever the case is, and he or she have to now convert it and figure a way to turn it to money. Either by drying it, turn it into cassava, or selling it as a yam. But now, with the blockchain platform, there's a example, a company want to do syrup from cassava, or want to do shea butter from shea nuts. Basically, instead of giving them big machinery, they can give a small individual woman a small pounded pot we use to pound our yam. She could do 5 pounds of shea butter a week. And then what does the blockchain platform allow her to do? It allows her to stay in her house without moving an inch to get paid, and allow her not to move an inch for the item to be picked up and be delivered. So she's free of all the logistics of taking her product to the market. Why? A blockchain logistics system would have been set up where they will pick up her 1 pound every morning at 6 a.m. If it's a motorcycle taxi or a regular taxi, take it to the warehouse. Then it will be scanned because her label have her name, the PR code on it. Upon it getting to the factory, if you meet the standard, it will be coded, and then she get paid digitally, and she don't have to leave the house. These are the benefits of the blockchain platform that could be of benefit to a common person. But I can go on and on in the area of medicine, in the area of identity, in the area of custom, in the areas of port authority. The usage is endless, and I'm suggesting, I'm actually approaching a lot of African countries to consult for them on this basis. At Manchester Trade, where I am, what I say here does not speak for them, but that's who I'm affiliated with. But most of our work is in the African continent.
I do agree, and to be honest with you, these are steps. These are conversations we had when we started the Pan African Daily, and we were like, how are we going to start? These are baby steps. We need a collective vision and an action vision. We have a lot of youth that are ready. I mean, those kind of solutions, blockchain, are nations that are already united and have a system that works for them. And so they can begin to bring this kind of technological trends and development. Now we go and start single-handedly talking about a woman in Nigeria, how she has to, for me, yes, nice, but right now, no. We need an aggressive unification policy, solutions that we say tomorrow, we are waking up all of us and we're going to start to build our army and put them in place. What is it that we should start doing now? Our youths are hungry for this change. They are waiting for all of us in their villages or in their communities, just waiting for a leadership to say, you know, now it's time we are going. all this kind of developmental European kind of conjunctions, like, you know, put your own this. Our ancestors did it, like you said before. That's not what would help us right now. Femi, you have the solution, an aggressive one. We need one right now. What should we be doing in a very eradication format in 2023?
Thank you, sister. One, language communication is your first business instrument. I'll repeat, language is your first business instrument. If we're using all these foreign languages, we're not communicating with one another, and we don't have our own unified African language. We speak English for the conquered. We speak French. We speak Portuguese. None of them is a unifying African language. African in 2023 must have one language we use. I must be taught in all our school system. Second, we cannot use a foreign-based language for local development. An African-centered curriculum must be put together by Africans for Africans. You cannot have a foreign education and try to apply to local development. You cannot bring a doctor from the U.S., could be the best from Harvard, to come and treat malaria in Nigeria. He or she will not have no clue what it is. I'm just using that as an example. But what am I saying to us? Our possibilities are endless, but we need a structure. The African you are mentioning, I'm Yoruba. Yorubas are in 5 countries in Africa. 5. One tribe. The question becomes, the supernatural boundary that was left by the European have not been corrected. And it's still costing us havoc. And it was done deliberately, it was done on purpose, and it was done maliciously. Why? Before the European came, African used natural boundaries, lake, water, and so on, river, and so on and so forth. When the European came, they did it for commercial purpose only, and they didn't care about the regardless of the people's culture and tradition. What else should we do? Culture is the base of all economics. With our culture, we've been raped culturally, period. Anything we do, from our language to our what we wear to what we eat and things we consume, is a reflection of a culture. And most people do not understand where culture also comes from. Culture came from agriculture. It was when we Africans were assembling food that we started to have manners and etiquette. There's no culture without agriculture. Having said that, so those are some of the areas I think we need to remap. So also I'm suggesting to the Africans to take a 10-year approach regionally for election. The commercial people take 10 years and name that we're going to have election this same day in this region. That will be our first step to a regional election system that later they will unify as one African Union. As it starts now, we're zero sum, in my opinion. The African Union was designed, built, financed by Chinese, and still secured and maintained by Chinese people to today. We have no control of what belongs to us.
Thank you very much. We are 1 hour into this conversation today, and I see you actively posting questions, and you can call into the studio if you have a question for our brother. We have 15 more minutes to go for today. And I think in this warm-up conversation, we have heard a lot of impulses, and even though I try to actually push you to the wall and to make you really angry, because that's the state at which we Africans in 2023 are going to get to that level to be able to wake up. We need to actually be angry at every single step. But you were a part or witnessed the U.S. Africa summit that just took place last month in December. And I know that you were part and parcel in getting an overview to everything that was going on there. And if you want to to give a really honest and critical analysis, just short and simple. A question: was that conference successful or not? If not, why not? If
Well,
yes, what
that's a yes or no answer. In the sense that if you come here with $0 and you're able to go back with $1, that's a level of success for that person. But as an African on the inside, looking at what's going on, it was a complete failure from the African side. Why? If you are a young woman and a man is approaching you for marriage, I'm sure where you come from, they will train that you have to have somewhere to live. You're going to have kids. You have to figure a way to feed the kids. The Africans are not putting forth a collective bargaining effort for what is mostly needed. Individual groups are going in for what they need. In the process, they're selling and signing the whole of the continent away for individual perks. Because if the African continent is serious about developing our infrastructure, soft, hard infrastructure, and our digital infrastructure should be one of the highest things we're pursuing. That's not what is on the table. Africans are coming here asking for weapons to fight Boko Haram. Africans are coming here. We're asking for destruction. By the way, to those who do not understand some of the concept of what some of this will be going to talk about later in the future, that there's a different ideological basis in how economic will develop between the Africans and the Europeans. The Europeans, for the most part, use explosive technology. Africans use implosive technology without residue. I don't have to break that down. I think most people will understand what I mean by that. So, and this is also their approach to everything they do. We are looking for a collective system, a wholesale system that is circulatory. The Europeans come out of a different system. And to those of us who does not understand why this is going on, there is a book you may want to look at called Urugu. YURUGU. The subtitle is African-Centered Critique of European Thoughts and Behavior. It's by Mariba Annie. Also, to those of us who are African who does not understand the Europeans and why they behave the way they behave, you may want to read the Iceman Inheritance. And then if you want to find out if it's true that it is through us that all this technology that everybody is using and the knowledge was stolen from Africa, you may want to read Stolen Legacy. I'll leave you with those 3 books for now for startup. But the accomplishment of the African of the past must now shift to the future, and the youth of the African continent must be engaged. Take, for example, right now as we speak, we are producing still, but we are not controlling what we produce. We're the basketball player, we're the football player, we're the tennis player, we're the golf player, we're the musician from Nigeria, but other people are doing the business aspect of our talent. That's the cultural failure. Now, if the Black people stop producing music, the other ethnicity who are for what I call parasite on us, what would they sell? If we start to play the basketball and owning ourselves, what would they sell? I think that's the question we need to ask ourselves is, where are we fragmented? Like we're going back and forth. There's one thing I'll probably just put on just to add to this here before I forget. What should we do? There was a question that came and I couldn't. The newest form of finance now through this blockchain platform is fractional ownership. I will repeat that 3 times. Fractional ownership or decimal ownership. In other words, it's a freedom for those who does not have real capital. If the project is $1 million and you only have $500 and you want a part of the project, you could still invest your $500 and then they will calculate what is the percent of 500 to the 1 million, and the point decimal is your investment, and that's your return, and that's your loss in case of any loss. And the aggregate of the profit will be shared that way with the same decimal. This will give opportunity to Africans in the Western Hemisphere to assemble in real estate projects, to assemble in project finance, to come to collaborate together and put little tokens of money. And by the way, once all this money has been put together, then you could now take this same money to another bank and use it to collateral a loan to do other things. These are the game we have to learn how to start to play.
Thank you very much. I have to take up this call. Definitely you have a question. Hello, welcome to Pan-African Daily TV. How may we help you here?
Hello, Mr. Femi Akinbee on the program.
Wonderful. Go ahead. What's your question and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Kayode Mola. I just wanted to say this. Mr. I'm calling from the United Kingdom. Yeah, Mr. Akinbee did say about Africa speaking one language. I know that it may be difficult somehow. Is there a way if Africa could break it down into, say, 3, 4, or perhaps 5 local indigenous languages? We have Zulu, we have Yoruba, and some other languages in southern, western, and northern Africa. Because if we basing all our development with regards European languages, that's definitely taking us back. So does it think one language may just be too few in terms of Africa that's got over 500 languages?
If we can learn French, if we can learn English, we need to have our own language. Because with that language, then we could trade across one another without the interference of an intermediary. Language is very important, and I think we should do that still. It could come in small process regionally, but eventually we need to have one. And we need to end up with one currency that is backed with the raw materials underneath us. How we're going to get that, I do not know. Because those who have interest in those raw materials are not going to let go easy. Take, for example, a cell phone invented by a black guy right here in Alexandria, Virginia. He's still alive, and I know him. The coltan that you are using, the phone and the cobalt, comes from Congo. Yet, we don't own Apple. Yet, Tesla does not belong to Africans. The question becomes, at one point do we get hold of all the raw materials that belong to us? Get rid of those who are in front of us, calling them leaders. I call them dealers, to get out of our way, so that the youth of the Africans now could put forth a soft and hard infrastructure that has not been there for over 60 years. And it's causing us havoc, so that it can develop a cohesive system that allows interconnectivity of the economies of the African continent. That needs to be done.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much. But I think he was saying something like, it might be difficult for us to just go to say, of course, we do know, we are not ignorant that to understand that Swahili has been adopted as the official language of the continent. And like I said, it's getting into adoption by different countries.
Let me say this much then to Mr. Kayode call. Don't be mistaken by what you see. As I'm speaking to you right now, the Chinese are learning Yoruba in Nigeria. Yes. And they are using the poor Chinese to impregnate the poor African women so they can have a lot of mulatto Chinese. If care is not taken, in another 20 years, the Chinese will cease to give capital to the black Africans and give it to the mulatto Africans to rule the black Africans in the continent. That is in the process. They're learning your language, you're not learning theirs. They're learning Yoruba. They are there. They're eating your food. They're doing the same thing we do. Could we do the same thing they're doing to us in China? China have police station in Africa. They have police station by Chinese in Nigeria. That's a crime matter, for Christ's out loud sake. All Africans all over the earth should be in arms and say no to any police station that belongs to Chinese in the African continent. But this is what we're dealing with right now. They're there. And the conscious level of the African heads are not there. They're taking a little pocket change for bribe, and they're selling the whole continent out. We must now restructure our, there need to be one on our raw materials. There need to be a database of all our raw materials. Where are they? What is the quantity and what is the volume? Take, for example, in Nigeria, we hear that Boko Haram is active in Nigeria. Everybody's running head to scatter. But down the line, we find out that it's just a cover to mine precious stones from the country in the billions. And where the Nigerians who owns rights to those properties are poor. These are the governmental global shift we're asking that we need change so that the Africans could take care of our own self.
Wonderful. I think this is still part and parcel of the missing puzzle for us to come together. But like Mr. Ernest Parker, welcome Ernest, Happy New Year. I'm very happy that you joined, even if you're late, but you're on board. Thank you so very much to see you here and your beautiful comments. You said, Malema says, return all lands and state devices all. That like we should start, King Maponga Joshua says the same thing. Give back the lands. If we give back the lands, then we can control the minerals that are under the lands. If we give back the land, then we can control our agriculture and even our seeds. Rutendo from Zimbabwe is saying the same thing. When we have a land and the U.S. sanctions against Zimbabwe actually was a plot to continue to keep the tenure of the Zimbabweans out of their own land so that they can continue to mine illegally and steal the diamonds that are under the lands of Zimbabwe. I mean, and Rutendo has been saying it day and night that it was a plot just like what you're saying. So even if we figure out with the issue of language that we speak together, if we are not conscious of our objectives, what we actually want, of what use would language be to us right
then
now?
we could start to take the history, the whole of the continent. As we speak now, if you travel through it, you do not see any book that speaks to our issue anymore. You don't find this book of Sheikh Anita Diop. You don't find Ivan Van Santima. You don't find Dr. Nobu's book. Are you with me? You don't find Anthony Brothers' book. You don't find...
Correct.
So our people are operating out of what I call historical void. History, Professor Spurs say, will take away the mystery. I think if you know your history, you know who you are, where you are, your history becomes your compass of where you're coming from and where we need to go. We know that historically we've done well. We've trained others. But for 400 years of slavery, the consequence is still painful, and the people who have done the damage are not willing and not ready to assist us. And even if they're willing and ready to assist us, we're not structured, ordered enough to receive it and put it to proper use. So we're stuck until we put a group of mind people together, a group of think tank together, serious mind, not just academics from European pseudo universities based on ego. We're looking for an African-centered, educated minds to come together, put a soft infrastructure for the continent, and then based upon that soft infrastructure, we build a hard infrastructure with it. Then we would then need the government to help us to govern what we've put together. Until the Africans start to address some of this issue, we're going to just be rotating, and the Europeans and the Asians, our frenemies, are going to be eating us alive.
Wonderful. Thank you. We're just going to take a small break to do some 1 or 2 announcements, and I'll bring you back live on the show. Just hang on in here to give us the last word. And while we're doing that, get your water, drink, and mind your African business. So what I just wanted to come back to you. 2023, like we said, we're going to be moving on, and we're going to move really, really fast. You heard Femi Akinbee. Like I said, that's one of the biggest brains of an economist, you know, the black brains of the economists that has been on these structures, helping and facilitating corporations on infrastructural and developmental development on the continent. And he has also been like let's just say, facilitator or a relationship builder. So he has all the knowledge. And like he was saying, it's not just something that we have to start a one-time thing. So Femi Akinbee just joined our profile of our scholars and our teachers and mentors, and all the books he's been talking about. We said it last year. Professor James and Professor Dr. Wade Nobles and all these professors, we put a collection during these vacation times, and we're going to be doing what we call the Academy of the Pan-African Center, doing webinars and training and doing book lectures on these specific topics. Because we know we can hold the conversations and the dialogue, but we have to go down to sitting and teaching ourselves and analyzing the speeches of great leaders, like what the young leaders are talking about, like Malema, Julius, and all these brains, all these Pan-Africanists. Take them into the classroom boards and try to analyze even what the Marcus Garvey, the Kwame Nkrumah, the Muhammad Gaddafi, all the Pan-Africanist visions that they had for Africa. And we start thinking about, others are talking about reparations, others are talking, other bodies are talking about we moving back to the continent, skills transfer, professionals, and all these sectors. These are all what that we have ahead of us in 2023. So I want to also remind you that as we begin this year, this is the first conversation. And if you're here for the first time, you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? So just go ahead, punch the subscription button. You know, it takes a process. The little red subscribe or abonné in French, or whatever country you're connecting us, will lead you to subscribe. But the bell, the little bell, is to remind you that when Pan-African Daily comes live, you have to be a part of it. So a lot is going to happen on the Pan-African Daily TV. And as you have seen, one of the biggest major aspects is our narratives, how we own and control it. Like I said, one of the things that we keep talking about, the African Union, the African government, they already put the blueprint for 2063. But does that mean we have to get to 2063? No. If 2063 is just a blueprint agenda and we don't start it today, we're not even going to get there. So what are we saying? We are saying that now every nation wants to invest. America is also doing the same thing. Europeans are doing the same thing. Indians will be doing the same thing. Arabs are doing the same thing. What about us? So the most important aspect is controlling and owning the narratives, the stories, because this is all what we're talking about, our history. This is all what we're talking about. We have to get a common language. If we get a common language, then we can share secret. No, the world, it's not about secret. It's about what are we hiding? No, everything that we are hiding could be said, could be done, and this time and space. Nobody's hiding anything. China, America, Europe, and everything. Nobody's hiding any agenda out there, people. And so we don't have time to begin to think that we would have to, must to do something before. I asked the question, when are you, the young people, going to start thinking about a militia? Where are we going to start building a unit, a service, a spy? When are we going to start building this kind of corporate relationships that is based on focusing on protecting our land, our resources, and the properties, and even the people? So it is something that 2023 is going to bring us into, not just a plan ahead, a plan and this, but what are we doing right now? And Pan African Daily, we are putting up a lot of projects that we're going to be doing with you, whether it's about teaching, what it's about building correspondences and networks everywhere, what it's about recording podcasts, what it's about getting the main people to be in the line of action, just like our brother Femi is going to actually, he's stepping back to say, I've seen all, I've done all, but now I want to be on the front page of action. And so I think you that are watching me today can be a part of that process. If you haven't, if it is your first time, please make sure you get connected. You are watching us every day. You share, you comment, you like all our programs, and you continue to invite others to subscribe. This way, we will build the Africa we want. So thank you so very much for all of you that are watching. Now, we're going to bring our brother live again just to ask him what he thinks should be the way forward. Over to you.
Thank you, my sister. I heard you mention the African Union 2063 would be a good place to start for all of us to look at what the African Union is. and then see if we could bring branches underneath it. So also is the issue of the African Free Trade Agreement that was signed last year.
Correct.
That should be put into action now. I also think that the whole of the African continent have played around with having a unified database of who we are, where we are, what professional are we in, what could we do. We need that database. The African continent need a counter-intelligence of our own. We don't have any. A lot of people in the US or in the in UK, when you mention the intelligence, they get shaky. We could never be able to get anything out of the Western world unless we have our own intelligence and do counter-intelligence and possibly double agents. You cannot win against somebody you don't know what they're doing. At the minimum, if you're not a double agent, at least let us know what they're doing. We're failing in this area. And by the way, to all of the African American in this hemisphere do not know, the African American in this hemisphere are very high in the ranking of the CIA offices here in Washington, D.C. So the question then becomes, who are they? Are they African for Africa? Are the African American that will now make sure they build a bridge to both ends? Or are they still the same? Because you could be an African American or you could be black, and you could still be doing the work for the other people. There's some work have been done by Dr. Shiwenzu. He wrote 3 great books. He wrote The West and the Rest of Us. He wrote Decolonization of the African Mind. And his last work was Endoprodarism, which means simply all of us just talking. We are paid agents. As we are speaking to you now, the YouTube and all the equipment and the infrastructure we're using now belong to them. That if we like it or not, we use the banking system. And the list goes on and on. The question becomes, when do we now start to draw our own structure without threatening the power that be? I think the time has come that we're able to do that now. And that if we could start to gather our own efforts, unify our front, and have an African-centered economical development structure that we put together by ourselves, then our generation after could start to pursue to build it. Look, in final closing on my end on some of these subjects, there's nothing the African are looking for, are things that were taken from us originally we're trying to get back. Name it. The biggest invention to mankind is 0 and 1. That's the Ifa in Yoruba land. 0 and 1 is the base of our deviation. Okay? We are the people who understand water more than anybody else. The rest of the world have not understood water. That's another subject we need to do another day. But what I'm going to say here is this, though. As we're talking about the African continent and her needs, it cannot be done in one sitting. What we have to do now is, I've mentioned some of developmental needs. Agriculture, housing. We need to take each of those individually and find an African-centered way to develop that. If we're talking housing, are we using wood? Are we using cement? What is accessible? What is culturally adapted to where we're from? Do we have to have air conditioning everywhere? Those are the things that we need to talk about. The other thing that I think is important here, though, that I didn't want to forget, all over the continent, all of those who are interested in our youth should make sure that the African people have a means to the Wi-Fi at a very fair, reasonable price, or at the minimum, the country, individual African countries should subsidize Wi-Fi, so that their students could have access to the internet, or they could go make a deal with Tesla, with all his satellites, to give us 1 or 2 to use. All of those things are the things that the African country should be looking into.
Thank you so very much, Brother Femi. And I think we're going to get you again on subsequent editions on different topics, tapping into your intelligence and solutions for Africa by Africans, for Africa by themselves doing it. So my apologies for the technical hinges that you had out there, but thank you. You made it through to the Pan-African Daily, and it is an honor. And we're going to be in touch with you for way forward. Thank you so very much, Baba.
Alafia Odabo. That means goodbye in Yoruba. I wish you all well and Happy New Year. It's our time. It's African time. We're going to do it peacefully. We're not warring with no one. We just want to make our own people live comfortably under the sun. We're the children of the sun. Peace to you.
Peace and blessings. Thank
Take
you.
care.
We're the children of the sun in Alafia. Yes.
Alafia Odabo.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Wow, good. So thank you, people. And I know a lot of you are anxious. We still get into that aggressive nature of like, I see Brother Ulrich, I see Brother El Hadi Tattoo. Toto, thank you, Sandra Kwame. Thank you. We did not greet before, NS Parker. I just want to make one correct. I want to correct a point. If you sit in your comfort zone, you would think that nothing is happening. You would think that we're just talking. You think that Africans are just making noise. But I bet you get out of that comfort zone, travel, visit, talk to people. If it was as easy as you think that Africa is being taken over, it would have been done long ago. The secret that no one is telling you is how powerful our leadership is. They might play and go drink coffee and we say they're not hearing, they're not paying attention. If honestly speaking, you are a true son and daughter of Africa, you know who you are, you know the DNA that flows into you, you would understand some things that are not being spoken on the platforms that we are all on. And that's why we always are so quick to say we're just talking, no action. I bet you, definitely you are still backward. Because if I give you the statistics, if I show you the work in terms of agriculture, what the young people have done in this 2 years, you would understand that maybe it's you that thinks that we're just talking. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to encourage you. There's a lot going on. And right as we are speaking today, I mean, 2-3 weeks ago, there was a U.S. Africa summit, and we saw our leaders there. Tomorrow, Dr. Tony Jaja is going to be a correspondent, and he will be telling you some secrets that you don't have a clue about. And so while most of us always think that, no, they just go drink coffee and do tea parties and go back. But guess who is on the continent as we're speaking to you? The mighty America, trying to negotiate and beg. So what are we trying to say? Do not underestimate your power of growth and change. And this growth, the way you are putting it, will not happen the way you want to see it. And the question I'm pushing you and asking you, you yourself, apart from talking, what are you doing? Show me an evidence of what you're doing to contribute to that. That is the accountability of 2023. It's like I talked to our brother, Femi, all those that sit in the diaspora comfortably and accuse the leadership on the continent. Show me what you're doing to be a part of the process. I know, and I'm just coming on a journey. I'm not just speaking. I've met people, African Americans, African Caribbeans in the Jamaica that are weeping, fighting day and night. They've been to the continent on their own without any permissions, any permit. And so that's the spirit of the Africa that we know. What has come over us to become so negative and think that we're just talking? That's too much disrespect for your own self. Because if you know who you are, we're not talking. There's a lot currently going on, as I'm telling you right now. And African governments are not stupid. Greetings and welcome to Pan-African Daily TV. You're talking to Dr. Susan Tatah. How can I help you, sister?
Hi.
I'm watching the program now. Oh, I'm doing fine. Thank you. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I'm so happy to get a call from you, my queen.
Listen, I don't get it. I'm watching a program now, and is it live or isn't it live? Because in the chat it's live. And I would like to call in and give my idea.
Yes, you're already calling in. It's live. Everybody's listening to you. Go ahead.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, the language, it's a good idea. It's good to start now because that is something that the next generation will have something that's only theirs. Our generation now, I think, need to stop teaching the language we do have now. That's first of all, because I cry a little bit inside every time when I see my people very happy because a European person knows how to speak our language, and we are so happy. Look at them. It's our how do you name it when you play a card and you have a truth? It's our truth. When they know our language, there is nothing that we can talk about without them knowing what we are talking about. My country, they speak Portuguese.
Yes.
Like the man who's talking now, the brother said, we talk Portuguese. The old generation, they always talk Portuguese when they are talking online. And I'm like, no, when you are online, that's when you have to talk our language, because everybody is listening. When they know your plan, they know how to block you. Sister, you said that we don't need some secret because the French and they do have it. That's why it's a secret. America has the secret moves. That's why they call it CSI, or
correct.
I don't know the name they give it. And the Jew have a secret, and they have a very simple system. That's email. That's why I said in the chat, let's start easy. You are a good central place because you have a lot of people on your program that knows a lot, and when we start to use the email address, just collect it. If you're black, send a picture with a newspaper, just to let's see that you are black. Collect the email address. When we want something done, we send one email address to all the people that we have. It can be everybody around the world. When you start, it will get big. Why do you think that, just talking about Kanye, I don't follow Kanye, but I could not follow it because it was everywhere online. How do you think that they blocked him that easy? Because the Jew, they sent an email to all the people they have in their email collection to attack Adidas, to attack the other companies. When you are a company and you are attacked like that, it's like your account is not freezed, but it's like a virus. You cannot go around it. We don't know how to block people economic. That's the way. Just start with email.
Yes.
Yeah, because we have already a lot of knowledge. I am listening to all the podcasts and we have a lot of knowledge. Only we don't know where to start. Let's start small. Collect the email address from everybody that's in the chat. From all the brothers and sisters that comes to your podcast. They know a lot of people. Before you know it, we have thousands and thousands of email, and that's the way to keep us connected. Just send one email for everybody. even if the half of the people do what you guys are asking, but it's a start.
Wonderful. Excellent, my queen. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And exactly, thank you. Thank you for your contribution, sis. We love you here. Thank you.
Yeah, I love you all. You love us.
Yes, we must. We don't have a choices. Thank you so much. Yeah. Good. I think it's not about everything that we're still saying is still coming up to another point that we are all ready, we are all concerned, we are all working hard. It needs a lot of support, it needs a lot of energy. And I mean, if you say the Pan African Daily, we have to have a structure of putting our stuff together. We already have it. So Pan African Daily is like if you go to BBC and CNN, are they not speaking? And they're not bringing strategy, and they're not talking about their challenges, and they're not talking about solutions for the world that they have to solve. It's the same thing like Pan African Daily TV. Everything you see any media does. Now, the reason is why do they do it? Some is just a propaganda, some is a distraction, some is absolutely contrary to the thinking. And that's what we call the main the brand, the braining, the brainwash, the whatever, the programming and stuff like that. We decolonize, we deprogram our minds by thinking on our own and bringing something to the global table. The only thing that I was trying to empower you is like, do not think that we're not doing anything. It's like you watching CNN and say, oh, you guys are not doing anything. Of course, people watching also CNN and say, ah, you are the most destructive or fake news, like President Trump used to say. But that's not the issue. The Pan African Daily is an educational media where we tell our stories by ourselves, where we put our stuffs together, where we bring our African solutions by Africans for Africa. Exactly. The issue of language has been a long debate on the Pan African Daily TV. And we are ready, and we see like today a brother in the Caribbean called me and like, Dr. Susan, I have good news for you. Now we are networking with Kenyans, and we are doing a startup project called the Swahili class, where they now engage young people in the Caribbean, in Barbados, and they are learning Swahili, and they want to do it like a test project. The brother will be coming on the show to explain this to you, but he was just here 3 months ago, and we talked about the issue of language, and he went back into his community and he tried to put a pilot project on the ground. So are we going to say that we just sit and talk? No, we're not. We're the media. We create beautiful stories about Africa. We bring solutions by ourselves. If you look 2 years back or before 2 years, we were not sitting and having these kind of conversations for no reason ever. But if you go to all platforms, you go to milestones from the ADDI, from PLO Lumumba Foundation, from Pan African Daily TV, from Go Black to Africa, from Wudamaya, from all this. It's a whole network of conscious Africans that woke up from the leaderships of the Julius Malema to other Pan-Africanists that are standing. It's a massive work that we've been doing. And I think, yes, sometimes Africa, we need to own it. We need to tap our backs and say we're doing great. Okay, but the moment we keep consuming only the negativity, oh, we're not doing anything, we're not doing more, it's like we just want to wake up tomorrow and see an army of Africans that are marching through, and you're not even a part of that process. Okay, 2023 is every hands on deck. Show us the evidence of what you're doing in your community, what you are doing to mentor, to gather, to unite, to connect, to promote, to advertise, to share, to connect, to send messages. Of course, I understand that it's not everything that we're going to come and say here, but you know what? It's way back that nobody is afraid of anything. We're going to build the Africa that we want, whether the world likes it or not, whether through their technology or not. And like I tell you, there's enough evidence that Africa is doing good. You Africans and the leadership, we're doing good. It's not just as if we're not doing anything. It's not just as if our leaders are dumb. It's not just as if everybody's a sellout. And that's the narrative we don't want on the Pan African Daily TV. If we are on the Pan African Daily, we are only about what we have done and what we are doing bigger than the others. If you want to call it propaganda, be it so. But I'm evidence, and I can show you all the research and places I've gone through that I see Africans every day. They are awoke. People are asking questions they never asked before. People are on the track. Every places that I went through, somebody knew me in that crowd and my face and my voice in Pan-African Daily TV. So that's how connected. That's how much the little work, the 2 hours, 3 hours that we spend here every day, and we think it's not important, is valuable. Yes, we need to talk. We need to talk even more than we need to become pirates. But the question is, what are we talking about? It makes more sense to talk about educating our people, doing what we're doing here, than to just talk crap. Okay? So, yes, information is the biggest solution in the world today. Information and education, particularly, is the biggest sector that controls the whole world. Look at the media. Look at what a small media could do to a whole community. And then you would understand that the Pan-African Daily is one of the biggest platforms when we talk about being awake, where we appreciate all of us that come as a global family. And you know I do appreciate you so much. But I don't want us to think that we're not doing enough. We're doing so much, but we can do even much better. So we want to see us again here tomorrow. I want to thank you, Sandra. I'm really happy for your contribution. And exactly, sister, that's what we are doing. If you haven't had access to our mailing list, we are on panafricandailytv@gmail.com. Here. If you watch the rolling text, it is rolling right now. But let me just put it in the chat board for all of you that are not already signed up to our mailing list. This is who we are, panafricandailytv@gmail.com. So yes, a lot of actions, a lot of things to be done are on the way, and we have to stick to it. The problem is, one of the distractions is when we start thinking that we need to build some secret, some kind of a secret. We are the media, we cannot build secrets here. We tell us, if we say we want to start learning Swahili, or even to use the same languages that we're speaking today, it's still a big, big opportunity to be able to share information. So yes, go ahead and share the best of information that you know. And I'm so happy to see fresh faces here in 2023. Most of us are still grabbing this, to thinking that, the new year has to go into the middle. And some of us are still just dreaming and still enjoying, like we're still in the festivity mood. You know us, you know how we rock. So it's not just only about, Africans entertain, they enjoy and they develop. And that's one of the biggest weapons, like our brother said, culture, entertainment. I went to Jamaica. Everywhere on the street was Afrobeat. Okay? Everywhere on the street. Not even in Europe, not even Africa, do they love Afrobeat. Everybody knew that Burna Boy was just there a week before we arrived. And particularly the embrace that I got from the Jamaicans when I just told them I'm from motherland. Come and see the presents they give, the love. Everywhere was just the happiness. That's one of the biggest thing that nobody can take away from us. And when Bob Marley said one love, that we unite and stand, it's more of a spirituality warfare. Sure, every other thing that we talk about, the French that we speak here, is part of the process, but the biggest part of the process I really would be showing. What I really would be sharing with us in the next days. What I did in Jamaica for 5 days was amazing. Beautiful people that I met. You know me, when I go, I don't stay in those resorts, even though I was a guest there. I was just in the neighborhoods, in the communities, talking to my people. We drank, we dance, we sing, and create a lot of networks out there. So, just get ready, for we are going also to be leaving from the continent and going to Jamaica. I have that network. I have that travel itinerary. I have places where they're ready to host us, and there's so much land in Jamaica. There's so much space on the beaches and the resorts there that are just empty because Jamaicans want to go back to motherland and to their continent. So yes, it's the same thing. Being in the States for a couple of times, I visited the Muhammad Ali Museum. Every place that I went, I just was finding where my people and their history was. Okay, if I'm not in the neighborhood looking for something, we are just networking and connecting and telling the stories in every place. Same thing on my travel back here. I went to the African Royal Museum in Brussels, and what I saw there is going to blow your mind. So when we are speaking, sometimes get out of your comfort zone, go into these museums where your ancestors are being held captive. What I saw in Belgium, my eyes will never explain it. Because sometimes when we talk about our artifacts in the European Museum, and we see even most of our leaders advocating that they have to build the biggest African museum in the continent in the next 20 years so that we can globally collect our artifacts. And when I saw that communicate, so we are not just talking. That's a lot of work. Because after the Europeans started arguing, like, yes, how can we give you the artifacts? Where are you going to keep them? What we saw, what I saw, what I witnessed in this Royal Museum, I bet you, all of you that are in Europe, make a trip out there. So that when we speak with annoyance and aggression. When we teach with facts and data. We don't just read newspapers that are written by other people and we just sit and we're comfortable. So Pan-African Daily is really going to be on the spot in the communities researching. Next week I'm going to Berlin at the conference room where 1884 our leaders, the Europeans sat and petitioned us. We have to move and take the conversations into our own neighborhoods, into the museums. Go and find out for yourself. This is the year of discovery. 2023, please look for any museum in your city. There are a lot of them there. Most of us, we just done, and that's one of the part, because right inside there is where everything is. What I saw in Belgium, we knew that our artifacts were there, you know, because sometimes when we say, we just say our artifacts, and we always begin to think that they are our, you know, spirituality elements. That was, it is everything. From the gold, all sorts of diamonds and minerals that Congo has, to even the wood, the food, the music. It is I don't know how to say it. I mean, I thought I was just going, like, I went to Muhammad Ali Center and I could see what our master, the legend, did as an activist, as a teacher, as a mentor, but also as a freedom fighter. And all this, I'll be bringing session per session onto you. All right. But the one first thing that I want to leave us with is we have membership now on the Pan-African Daily TV because most of you asked for it. And this membership is like starting from $4.99 up to $10 or 10 euros. So we have 4 categories. It means you subscribe to a category. And exactly this is what you're saying. Some information that are only going to be targeted to a particular kind of audience. So please make sure you click on membership on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube channel, and you're going to see the membership category. Like I said, it is not about any kind of raising, but it's a kind of getting the secrecy and the groups so that we can share some very interesting conversations and information and data. I know you're still going to say it's the same media that we're using, is the same platform. Never worry. There's nothing that is hidden up under the skies. If your intentions are clear, it has been 5,000 or 500 years. We're still standing tall. Nothing is going to happen. It's just the fear. Nobody's going to take Africa. Whether China like they build the war missiles, whether India likes, they do what? Whether America like, they do what? I tell you today, and I've been telling you, nobody is going to touch Africa. Because when they take small, the Most High blesses it 1,000,000 times. If they take a little, they multiply and triple. We would not have been existing as a people. We would have been extinct long ago if the powers had allowed it. So what are you afraid of? Don't you know who you are? Don't you know who your ancestors are? Don't you know who the Most High is? What do you doubt? What you're afraid of? Even the little that they still have, you are not using it. You don't even know what to do with it. You're not taking advantage of it. And when they take small, and then we stand up and oh, they're taking our minerals. You still have More than 300 different types of minerals that are still not even discovered. And most of us are saying, oh, it's because we don't have satellite. So we're still running around, we're still running chasing the crumbs. The biggest continent, second largest, I think is first even. I don't believe in any statistics that anybody's telling me. We're the biggest, the first. We're the most civilized, and in every culture. I met an activist in Jamaica, and he told me, this Rasta told me straight in my face and said, Dr. Susan, we never were brought here as slaves. We were already here. We owned the lands. Every place that you see, the black man was already there. Even the history of slavery and colonization is not a true story. It's just a part. The ones that came was already coming because the origins were already there. Do you want to judge him? Do I want to judge him? I folded my arms and I get to work on research. That's how we go. Anything you hear as an African, a conscious African, get to work and research for yourself. And when you find good answers, hey, go ahead and spread the message. So because how many years are you going to be here? But what are you doing already now to say that this is what I want to leave? So please, I want to leave you with a year full of abundance. 2023 is a year all Africans would be happy to be alive, whether on the continent or in the diaspora, because the world and the other systems where they're going now, Africa is rising like never before. All the narratives of those saying, oh no, you see China is going back, oh, the scramble for Africa is coming again. Let them go. Just let them go. Even if they go, they dig it. From Congo, I tell you what I saw in this museum, but Congo is thriving and is still the most fertile land. Nigeria with the oil. Oh, our brains are out there taking our oil. Even the ones that you still have beneath you and above you is still more than you can even process. Start by using the ones that you have. Just start by doing the ones that you have. Your father's land is there. You have the little amount of money to just buy property and start farming. Like you heard what Femi said, the basic 5 needs: get a shelter, and no African is living under a tree today from what I know. That's known. Get a piece of land where you can feed yourself. Get a roof above your head. And all is good. You don't need all the skyscrapers that they've been lying to you all years. You don't need it. You have your water, you have your rivers, you have your organic seeds. If you eat healthy, you would barely be sick. And so you can live 150 years like your ancestors did. Start by using the things that you have. And then you will stop complaining about what they're taking from you. Because until I went into that museum, then I was like, wait a minute. We keep talking every day about, oh, they're taking our artifacts and our stuffs like that. We still have so much that can contain the whole world. And we see still people that are stealing, people that are coming, people that are negotiating for this, and we keep talking. And that's why we say we talk. And I want to thank my brother Orish. I've missed you, Orish, for so long. Okay. Yes. Just look at what you have. You are living in abundance. You are the first creation and the blessed and the most closest to the Most High. That is what I know. My 5 days in Jamaica taught me a lot that I thought I knew. When I connected with the Rastas and we were in the communities, I saw the love, the peace, the joy, the abundance. Everyone was willing to give me something, just like my village that I grew up. And I asked myself, what else are we looking for? What are we looking for? What is it that we are asking for, Africans? What are we running from? Until we run from the paradise and then we get trapped on in this blockchain. Look at the name, blockchain. Blockchain. before you even get to talk about how big and develop these theories are. Look at the meaning, just the literal meaning. You don't need to have a PhD. You don't need to even understand what is. Just look at the word and ask yourself a blockchain, and they tell you it's a theory, it's a technology that would survive us. What kind of technology that your ancestors did not develop? What? I see people feed each other. How happy and selfless they are. You talk to people, the sun, the rains, the dance, the music, the food, the culture, the easygoing, the one love culture and unity and peace. In every corners, you listen to Afrobeat, you listen to Bob Marley, you listen to Peter Tosh. What else? You look at the people being so proud of their legends, and they call Jamaica the land of the legends. I bet you would better not be anywhere else than be home, because Jamaica is Africa. So if we just know who we are, and we always keep thinking when they say know who we are, is to go and do some kind of historical research. Where did I come from? Where and did my ancestors come from? Why did they bring here? That's why when we say know who we are, we're always thinking about that. But I got a secret for you. Knowing who you are is knowing the blessed child and the abundance that you are living in. And you have not seen it. That's why we say we're brainwashed. Our eyes are blind because somebody just closed your eyes to it. So now we are going to get our artifacts back, because these are not artifacts. And I spoke to all of them, our ancestors, right in there. And I pour libations to all of them. And I will show the pictures to you. I didn't just go for a visit. You know me, when I go somewhere, I go for war. I go for attack. I didn't just go, I go for knowledge. I go to take what is mine. We're going to take it. And I told them it's time that we're coming for you. And we do apologize for being in all these chains. If I show you the pictures, you weep out how chained they are and locked in all those windows and glasses. And people, all sort of things, whether ducks or any kind of animals, come and look at them. They can read about what they wrote about them. Sometimes before I used to cry when I go to such places. Now I don't. I smile and I kiss their feet. I say it's just a matter of time. We're going back home. So speak the power that has been given unto you, and it's going to manifest. It will happen. It has happened already. Okay? So yes, thank you. I think I did my job. It's 2 hours. It is 2 hours, non-apologetically. And I need all of us to connect again tomorrow, because we have Ambassador Dr. Tony Jaja. He is the peace ambassador for Eastern Horn of Africa, and he has very, very good news for us. Sister Kalena, however, thank you so very much, sister. Welcome here. I miss you so much. I miss you, Sister Kalena. I miss you so much. Yeah. And Dr. Ambassador Tony Jaja is going to give you some very piece of good information. That's why I say 2023 is all about abundance. You know, I know where our leader was coming from to tell us about, and it really sounded kind of like we're not doing anything, like we need to do this. It's been in the blockchain and all this consultancy, but we are coming from the spirituality powerful point. We already know that we're long gone. Okay, so like the Tigray Ethiopian peace negotiation, nobody's asking question, how did it just end up? We don't hear anything again. But if you go into the Agenda 2063, where they talked about, where one of the aspirations was, or objectives was, silencing of the guns in 2020. And most of us were already so aggressive, and we were bashing at our leaders and talking about how useless and miserable they are without even making a step. But nobody's questioning, how is it that we don't hear about the Tigray and the Ethiopian war anymore? Did we see some private jets or United Nations building some camps and building refugee camps out there? No. So what happened? And it's not only that. So there are a lot of good things that are going on the ground. Don't just see in your small lenses. Open your brains. When we say wake up and enjoy. Wake up and look at the skies and the sun and smile back and say, I'm the greatest. When I went into Muhammad Ali's museum, I could jump and jump and jump and jump. And I was punching the backs. I was punching, like, I'm the greatest. All the inspiration. So if you're living around America, particularly around Kentucky, in Louisville, where he was born, and you've never been to Muhammad Ali Center, please do. Take all your children there. And if you're also in New York, we know the African American Center Museum is actually right down there. I couldn't make it this time around because I was just busy relaxing, okay, and just happy that I'm just on that soil where my ancestors were. It's just happy. Sometimes I just had a lot of things to do, but I just smile sometimes and just thank them and just appreciate them through my meditation, through my libations, through my gratefulness. So there are a lot of things you, son, daughter, child of Africa can do. 2023 is the year of abundance. Too much is happening already around you. You just need to open up. Yes, it's the greatest, not just an athlete. Hey, come on, Kwame. That's also what we used to think when we hear about him. But when I read his theology and even I went to his grave, and you could see one of the latest and the greatest things that he wrote about was like when he stopped his career as a boxer, that's when he discovered his mission and purpose in life. And that's when he started moving out, going to Africa, to India, to all these neighborhoods, just empowering people and giving back to the community. So it is not just about boxing. When he refused to go to Vietnam just to throw bombs on the innocent people, and he was sentenced and he was blackmailed and he was, marginalized by the American system, he stood his grounds and said, I would not do it because I'm the greatest. And he did not go to do that. And he won and became the world's greatest. What more else do you want, Africans? What do we want? So it's just a lot in your surroundings. Okay. So your queen is back, and we're going to be smiling and looking at the positive things that we have been doing, that our people are doing. We're going to get out of this depressive, from the weather to the negative, to the aggression that is going out because of this thing called paper money that is being shut down, and inflation and prices are skyrocketing, and people are being depressed. Most people are confused. Oh, no jobs, not this, not this, not this. You that is a conscious spiritual African know it all. You know that you can never lack. Even in the midst of all that is crumbling beside you, beneath you, in front and behind you, you shall never lack or want, because you are the chosen. If you know it, then you know who you are. Then you will never complain. All you should be doing is singing the freedom songs. I bought the album of Bob Marley. I think it was the 1972 album or 1976 album. And that complete album was the freedom songs. That's what you should be listening to. So I got a lot to share with you people. I'm just coming, but you can imagine with the baggage that I'm coming in. A lot of information. What did I not do? Even when I went to his grave, Bob Marley, in the room where he laid, his first bed, and they wrote on the bed, don't sleep on it. I slept on it. I lied down on it. On his spiritual stone where he used to do his meditation, I was there. On the place where he used to cook, right? And just do his tea, the tea, the tomato tea. And I was there. Every place that we went through, apart from actually, the final, even the gravestone where he was put there with his brothers and else, I say, I was there. Places to say don't, I said, I am daughter of the son of the land. I can, and I went there. Okay, so yes, that's a lot to connect. And you can see the power and the energy coming from. Who do you think is coming from? So visit them. Visit them. They're just around you. They've given us everything. Abundance. That's who you're called. Every other petty things will take care of that. And even before we take care, so the Most High, our ancestors took care of that long before. Okay? Yes, we need to sing the freedom song. I'm so happy. You need to be there. And ever since I came back, I have about 10 family members and friends and relatives just because of the vibration that I was sharing from the trip, from the 5 days to Jamaica. Everyone has booked a ticket to go. I say, go. Just go out there and connect and be empowered and live from people who don't have anything, but who are the most happiest, your siblings out there. And you come back a different person. Even in the midst of depression, you will smile. Even when the clouds are dark upon you and we're living in this kind of a misery kind of a thing, you find sunshine in your heart and you will listen to the freedom songs. That's what I listen every day. It's just in my heart. Okay. So yes, there's nothing like my brother NSC says, it's just a recycling of the system. But you need to tap to connect into the vibration. One love vibration. Okay, we went to the village and the school of how they call him again, our fastest runner, Jamaican. And you could see how Jamaicans are so proud of their legends. And I went to Maine to the bookstore and the home of ancestor Garvey Marcus. Can you imagine that? If you visit and you don't touch base with these ancestral places, please come on, just stay where you are. So that's what we're going to be doing. That's exactly what we're going to be doing. Okay. Yes. And I'm also bringing you good news from Baba Jeffries. Leona, you know, he was sick. He was operated. He had a heart operation, but he recovered and he's just kind of like getting a massage. And all his family is doing well. Dr. Rosalind Jeffries, and I spoke to them. And yes, everything is working good in your favor. You, the firstborn of the creation. If you know who you are, you don't need to beg for bread. Okay? Because you have so much in store for you that even if they take it all, you still have abundance. You just need to look at what you can create, just like your ancestors did. So, power to the people, like you said. Thank you so very much. And yeah, I already gave you another 11 minutes. You know how we do it when we miss each other. Cheryl, Kwame, Ernest. And I didn't see Mr. Brown here tonight. And I didn't see a lot of our people. I didn't, most of them are still, I saw El Hadid. I saw all of you, all of you. Yes. So yes, you know how we do it when we meet, when we connect, when we disengage for a couple of weeks and months. It's painful. It's painful. Okay. So yes, we're gonna be making it to Jamaica. We're gonna be making it to the islands. It's not only, oh, we have to go to Africa. We have to really, yes, that's the mother, but the mother has children everywhere. We can start us in the diaspora by visiting our siblings. Okay, by visiting our siblings in Europe, in the Caribbean, in China, in Asia. Before motherland is where we ending Zovizo. Anyhow, this is where our tombs are there, our DNA and everything. Do you think we're just going to even go to Mother Africa like? And that's one thing I was discussing with our brother from Go Black to Africa. I said, sometimes we just saying it. The continent and the whole world belongs to you, children of the Most High, your great ancestors, everywhere you are. Just make yourself home where you find your siblings. Talk to them, share with them, listen to their stories, their challenges. Tell them you're from Motherland Africa. Bring them all the goodies, the good news, and everything. All right? That's too much legacy. It doesn't mean that we begin to use the European model of developing Africa. Or when we go to Africa, we need to build a school, we need to build a church, we need to do this. Those are copy-paste models that never worked. Our ancestors never did that. Because the education that we know is not the one of sitting in the classroom. And you just saw the world did that. Now everything is digital. Do what you want to do, or TikTok, Reel, or whatever. And even YouTube is coming out also with YouTube Shorts, and you just see the whole world going crazy. Everybody, the moment you tap one, you can just stay there for the whole day. That's the freedom, expression of your mind. Tell what you want to tell, sow what you want to sow, because it's above them. Nobody can hold it again. It's gone, right? So nobody's going to own you, Africa. Nobody has the right to own you. Nobody's even looking to own you. You have to own yourself. You have to own your mind. You have to own your narratives. You have to own everything that you are. You have to be the champion, the unbeatable, the undefeatable, the number one, the greatest, the legend of all times. That's who you are. And nobody can stop you from doing that. So stop even developing like the same systems that we're brought on. Oh, our people have to breed as chaos. If you cannot give that love and commune in your neighborhood where you are, you think you have to fly to Mother Africa and create an impact? Start by doing it where you are. How do you treat one another? How do you deal with people around you? How do we love and care for one another? How do we protect one another jealously? How do we stop betraying? How do we stop backbiting? How do we stop jealousy? This is what your ancestors are asking you to leave behind. And not just go and run behind some stones and some minerals that you don't even use it, that you don't even know what to do with it. Just because you hear that they make some paper out of it. Your timber, your this, my diamond, my platinum, oh, they make some handies with it. The Most High said, let them take it. I give you everything. They take small, I double, triple. But love yourself and love one another and treat one another with peace and love and blessings. Bless each other every morning you wake up and be grateful and give thanks. Is that difficult? It's not. So thank you. Please, I apologize if anything that I said did not much in line. Like, you know, we share. We are opinionists on this platform. If you're inspired, thank you. Give us a thumb up. You can also support us. And now we also have a Cash App. And you want to give the Cash App, just put Dr. Susan Tatah. You're going to get to our Cash App and you can support us. Because 2023 is a year of abundance where we share. Because none of us is lacking. We have abundance. We have so much. The only thing we just need to do is give to one another. Like I told you, I went and I met my siblings in Jamaica. They wanted to give me everything. If they could give me the whole world. So if I come with my European stupid nonsense mentality and say, no, I'm going to the neighborhoods because the people are suffering or because they are poor, your mind is out of you. Because every African is blessed with abundance and we share. So the little you have, we give. We have the little that we have on our platform. We're bringing you our scholars here, our academy, to share this moment, particularly this winter period. We should be live, and we're going to be live every day. Now, if I didn't provoke him, he would be out in the kitchen. I don't even know what he was doing. Look who is here, people. Look at the family member that is here. I am here because I called his name. I said, Mr. Brown, I didn't see you. And he just tick, tick, tick. Probably he was listening and not watching. I didn't see him in the chat. It was like, I'm here. I'm present. Thank you so very much, Mr. Brown. Thank you. Yeah, that is it. When we don't know, we don't see each other, we look for them. And that is why when I hear even most of the Christians of the Bible saying, when out of the 99 ships, the one that was lost, you know, he left she left the 99 and went out for the one lost one, because she knew the 99 are okay, but the one lost is who I go out for. So if I didn't see Mr. Brown here, I know that I'm lost in one, and we actually go out to look for. That is who you are, African. And I love that question when I provoked our brother and said, shouldn't we be doing weapons? He said, we're not warriors. If we were, our ancestors gave us that technology. We had weapons where we go and do our fire lighting, where we go and shoot our animals that were meant for food. We never had the technology intentionally to start building things to kill one another. Okay, so yes, if you are not, don't be that you are not. But anyway, we're going to define ourselves, our psyche, our community, our people with by every means necessary. Okay, so thank you so very much. I know all of us are eager to go to bed. Me too. Oh, somebody just said member. Who just subscribed now to a membership? New member. Thank you, Sister Carol. And now, what are you guys waiting for? What are you waiting for? Because all the vibrations, the pictures, the conversations that I came from Jamaica would only be available to members. I've already given you the free version of the vibes, but imagine when we're going to go get into the conversations. So be a member. Like I say, you can take a membership for $5. You can take for, I think we have $6 and $10. And you can even give more for 20. All right. That's nothing to us, people. And it's gonna help us to keep away the infiltrators, to give some really classical trainings and knowledge to all of us. So 2023, we want to see you cash us up and be a member on our platform. And we can only grow to multiply to our young people on the continent whom we are looking to train millions of them, on consciousness. Our trainings on the Pan-African Daily TV Academy is going to be on consciousness. How do I become African again? What must I detox? What is my spirituality level? How can I climb it up to the next level? How can I live in the spirit of abundance? How can everything that belongs to me begin to relocate me from 2023? It is not just a hearsay. It's not a sermon on the pulpit. It's not a preaching. It is a reality. Okay. And that's what the enemies discovered and took out of you. And you begin to think that the bills Christ pays and wrote is all fake. The real thing is in the spirit. Okay. And that's the one love culture. So yes, please make sure you get a member. Thank you, sister. We just got one member now. And any of you, thank you so much. Any of you that have not, I'm putting up our see, this is how our cash app looks like. Let me show it to you. And I want to apologize. There is a brother that has been struggling to cash up us, and we didn't have it by that time. And he sent it to Pan African Daily, and they keep reminding us, go and collect your money. They've sent you cash up, or we could not because we're busy doing the work, and the money definitely went back. So yes, that's our cash up. Make sure you go and cash us up and donate whatever you can donate to continue to support this vibration and this spirit here so that all of us can live in the abundance. Okay. Thank you so very much. How many minutes I added again? We're almost at 2:30. So thank you. We see ourselves tomorrow. Like I said, be on time. In case of technique, because Ambassador Jaja will be connecting from the continent, and he will give you some secrets of what is going on right now as I'm talking to you. And so for you to begin to get that empowerment and that education that we're telling you, you're not small to change. If you think that the big guys that we were chasing, and if you can imagine now, they are the ones chasing you, Africa. It's not business as usual. Okay. So yeah, good night to all of you. We see ourselves tomorrow. Please make sure you share. I'm going to post the coming up live of Ambassador Tony Jaja tonight or early in the morning. And even if I don't, please just continue to remind one another that we are back. A lot of holidaying is over and we're back to work, and that they need to get to work as well. All right. So yes, Africa already has satellites. So many. All of you are satellites. Okay. We don't need just one kind of thing that people don't see everywhere. If we just are open-minded and we use our antennas like our ancestors did, watching our environment, studying our nature, our neighbors, connecting with one another, there's no greater satellite on earth than the ones that you are. So we're going to go practical. We're not going to be trapped in this thing for 2 years. Africa needs its own satellite. Africa, you are all satellites. You are everything. You're gold. You're diamond. You're platinum. You're everything. King Maponga said it. Look at the type of manure that when you die from this planet, you'll become. Then you understand the quality and the personality that is in you, the spirit. So yes, we're all satellites. We just need to love and care and watch over each other. That's what a satellite does. We don't need anything that somebody go and put there. The fear It's one of the things that we beaten long time ago. The fear. I mean, you could see, you could see how we were rocking and happy. And nobody, just free people on the beach, you know, talking, enjoying, drinking coconuts, and enjoying the sun and the good breeze, catching fish and roasting it by the side. What kind of paradise? People buy private jets and are looking for another planet to go and live that kind of life. But the Most High gave it to you, Africans, and you complain? No, not this year anymore. Okay? Yes. No more fear. Fear of what? How can you be afraid of fear yourself? You're just the greatest. So we have to, and stink like a butterfly, like the greatest say. I am the greatest. I am the greatest. And he proved it at the age of what? We're going to go into that biography and the stories and pictures and everything. Please do not forget, get your membership because this will go only to our members. I can guarantee you. Because a lot of information is exactly what you're saying. We should not just share it here on the platform. We're not going to do that. Too much good vibes. Okay. So thank you. Thank you for putting up with us. Thank you for being. It's almost, 10:47. I know on the continent, a lot of people are sleeping, even in Europe right now. And out there is still really like 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. in the Caribbean. So you guys are on top. You are on top. You're the one getting the vibes here. So we can really say good night to all of you who want to leave. And while we're rounding up, it's okay. It's not impolite for you to go to bed. Mr. Brown, I know that you're listening, you're watching us. And I want to thank all of you, the new faces that we got here today as we start the year of abundance. Okay? So make sure you're taking care of yourself, ladies. We're going to get private conversations. You will not believe it. The happiness is too much that I gathered the information, the message from all these ancestors, from Ancestor Marcus Garvey that I visited, Ancestor Bob Marley, Ancestor Muhammad Ali, Ancestor. I mean, I cannot just, you can imagine what I'm coming with. You can imagine what I'm bringing to the table for you, 2023. Of course, the village girls. Exactly, Ernest. That's what really pushed me into Jamaica because you can imagine why I'm crazy because I just went back to the village. I just went back to my village. Went to the waterfalls, to the rivers, everything that I did. Everything that I did was my village. And I think we just connected, we just fused, right? And went to the bananas, to the mangoes, to the oranges. Oh my goodness, what is it that we didn't do there? Run in the waters. I will show you all of them. I have them all in pictures documented. All right. So the village girls, you see, when I get into my element, you see the way I glow. It was unstoppable. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, Cheryl. You see, African beautiful. You're the most hardworking woman I know. All of us, my queen. And particularly when we love what we're doing. There is no, I tell you, I would train all of us. I'm telling you, we're starting a course on create your own talk show. You're gonna quit your jobs. Anything that is just pissing you up that you have to get up in the morning and do this, you will all quit the jobs. We'll go about just doing what we're doing, working for our people and having the best fun in life ever. Ever. All right. Like just imagine like now I've been dashing and going back to where the sun is. Eat fresh every day, organic. And listen to those noise that it's been long. I mean, it is the first time again I could listen to a lot of horns on the street, pim, 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 and people shouting and crying. I miss this a lot. Sometimes we just hear and say it's development. You don't hear even a butterfly, nothing. Nothing. Nobody even making noise, no children crying anyhow. Everything is just like shh. And I begin to no, no, please. Oh my God, when I went to Jamaica, it was the loudest. Every day was party. Every day was samba. Every day there was something really just going on at the beach or in the community. You either is hearing some noise or some mosquitoes that are even chasing to greet you. Come on, please. And I was just like, exactly, this is it. This is just it. So please make sure we are booking the next trip to Jamaica. A continent we would go. Like I tell you, we belong there. We can go to every part of the continent that we want. But I need people in Europe or in the UK or where, even from the continent, please just put your name on the list and say we are going. I have all the contacts already. Remember, it's 3 million people and how many provinces that we have, and from one place to one place highest is 2-3 hours drive and stuff like that. All right, if you leave like Montego to Kingston, that could be about some 5 hours and stuff, but we drive. And all of us, I mean, I tell you, the roads are tiny, but the drivers are so smart, just like the ones on the continent, in the rural areas, the real guys, I'm telling you, and the real women. And the Jamaican girls, oh my goodness, they're so cute and up to standard. You see, when I posted one of those my pictures, somebody's like, "Oh, you're just like the Origins. You're just like us here now." I said, "Wait a minute. What do you think? What were you thinking about?" Please make sure you are saving. Do you want us to go in April? Do you want us to go at whatever period you want us to go? Like I said, I shared just the information. Nearly all my contacts, they booked for Jamaica already. So if we don't even book early now, we might be getting it late. But I had to strike some deals, because when you just book through all this Airbnb and all this travel guide, you're going to pay double, triple money. I don't travel like that because we connect to our siblings and they take us to the right place. All those places that we went to, whether it was a boat party or we went to the mountains or to climb the waterfalls or everything, we got it our own way, like the village girls. All right. So yes, and I've put a whole network of young people, and we do the tour to Ancestor Bob Marley, to Marcus Garvey, to all of those icons. All right. And then, like I said, we go to everywhere. You go to places where we catch the fishes. Oh my goodness. Everything is it's just so nice. There's just so much out there, people. My brothers and sisters, my African people, they just so much out than to just bottle yourself in a room and wake up in the morning and look at the skies and go somewhere to earn some money and come back. The moment you make money part of not of your business and you want to build a skyscraper, oh, I want to build a big villa, I want to buy the fastest car, I want to do this. And as much as you don't make that your priority, you'll live the best life ever. And you will still live more than those that own that, because nobody can cage you. Okay. You want to go to Jamaica, Sandra, contact us. Send us an email. I'll be putting out the program shortly for those that want to go. And we should be going there. I'm telling you, sister, you come back and say, I got it. All right. Nothing would temper with your sanity. No more. Okay. Yeah. And also the other trips that we're looking also, like we say, our people are everywhere. We have to meet. We have to begin to know our history, not just reading books. We have to be out there and connect and get to the reality. When you're coming back with research, when I said I went to Ancestor Bob Marley, I can tell you everything. Do you just have a clue? Do you have a clue just being there? Just being in the house where he was born? Do you have a clue of seeing the infrastructure that his mother, because that queen was who I went after. All right, her mother, how she raised him to become who he is. This prophet, Jamaicans worship him, call him a prophet. Okay, we do. Okay, in every car and everything, you hear the vibe. You cannot. Okay, so can you imagine going to his village? I didn't go to Kingston where the museum is. I went to his village where he was born and raised and where he is laid. And you see the small tiny street, and you saw the first room where he was as a baby, the first even diapers that he had on. Do you know such an and you put your head on the stone where he used to do his meditation, or you see where his brothers and his siblings were laid at that grave. And it's just a small tiny nice sweet place where you can feel that spirit of one love. The culture is there. I just wanted to stay there. Everybody you meet just smiles, so you just embrace you. People just like, and you look at us, these coconuts, just brown from the outside and white from the inside, how we begin to behave like some lost children. And they know us all. So sweet to be among your people. Okay. If you can invest just for that in your lifetime, you have built a legacy. And that's what our ancestors are calling us to do. Leave your comfort zones. Visit your people on the continent, in their communities. Talk to them. Share a meal with them. Commune with them. Tell the beautiful stories. They're ready to help you detox you. We'll go and spend a lot of chunks of money, and we've been doing that for how many years? Oh, I need to get a diet. Oh, I need to eat healthy. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to get a this and this and this, and pay every month, whether it's superfood or what or what. That's just part one. I don't even know what is a 100 of the process. The whole spiritual process, like we say the Ubuntu, without me, without you, I am not existing, is the connection to your people. The hugging, the dancing, the talking together. I was just behaving like I don't know, like I fell from another planet, because that's something I've never had for long since I left my village. That kind of feeling, I never had it again. And I met it in where the land of my siblings. It's the best experience in my life again. Okay, touching the graves of my legends, going there. I was just smiling the whole place, even at this Muhammad Ali Center. I nearly bought everything. T-shirts in different colors, his books, his pullovers, his punching, like everything. And my brother was, hey, watch out, you're going to finish my money here. That's the spirit. You just want to leave everything. You want to stay there. So yes, we have to connect. We have to connect so much, from Jamaica to the continent, to Barbados, to all the to Saint Martin, to Saint Valencia. Let's go and meet our people, whether in Atlanta, Georgia, or in New York, or wherever they are. Conscious community, it's time for us to move. Not just stay at one place. Oh, we have to go to motherland. Yes, motherland is our home. We have to go there. We have to own our lands there. We have to do. How do we connect with the people? What are we going to go back and tell our ancestors who we met? Now, Ancestor Bob Marley knows me. Yes, because he asked, no one should sleep on this bed, and I slept on it. And and the tour guide and his brothers was like, Dr. Susan, you're going to have twins. Bob Marley loved women and had a lot of children. So then the reason why they're saying don't lie on that bed is, if you're lying on that bed, be ready that you're going to start having babies. If someone even only smiles at you. And of course, and like the sweet, beautiful Queen African, the mother that, who doesn't want to? And I just lied on it and said yes. Okay, so I mean, it's so beautiful. I cannot unpack everything that I'm telling here. We have to go there. We just have to. I'm not forgetting Texas. No, I'm not. I'm not forgetting. Remember, we have the Black Excellence Award coming up in New York on the 2nd of February. Okay, so yeah, just a lot of I was doing it, huh? Not babysitting, no, nobody's gonna nobody's gonna babysit. No, I just wanted to break some of those rules. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. I was like, come on. He knows I'm here. They know I'm here. Okay, and maybe no other person to do it should do it, but Queen Mother Africa, Dr. Susan Tatah, aka F1, I must do it, and he knows that I will do it. Yes, so wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It's been a long time. I miss you all, and I had to bring back all this, release it here, and so that we can start digesting. So let's see ourselves tomorrow and hear the good news that Ambassador Tony Jaja is going to share with us. And then one thing also, I did my first ever makeup. I tried everything, people. I'm telling you, I tried everything. I've never had, you know, this kind of makeup on that we women and girls of today. I used to look at it and how do they wear these kind of things on their eyes? Look at my nails even. I did my nails. How do they do these things? A village girl like me always was like, you know, you just like, but you know what? I tried everything. I was with my niece and she's a beautician and she did me all day. So I'm going to share these pictures with you. You're going to see my makeup pictures that I did. And it was just so fun. I was like, okay, it's okay for women to feel diverse. Does it change me from being a Pan African or from being the true African queen? No. But it just means that I have so much diversity and variety that are endless. I can try anything that I want. The one thing that I did not try was the tomato grass. You know what I mean? And I wanted the original. And I even went to the soup where he was cooking it. And I really, my heart was like, drink a little bit if you can. Like, and I was like, okay, next time. Next time. So yes, thank you, thank you so much. Yeah, we love you too. We love you people. Sandra is saying, you're beautiful, sister. We are all beautiful, Sandra. And yeah, if you're here for the first time, I'm telling you, that's the best place to be. There's never going to be any platform. Of course, we have a lot, and each one is focused. But us here, we're talking about our connection, our beauty, our spirituality, how we empower and engage with one another, how we build strong family structures, the African one family, the one family, the one family culture that nobody is going to take away from us. No amount of bullet is going to separate us. Okay. And we're just doing it by ourselves, by us. Nobody having to tell us, oh, you do this is because of this. Oh, you do this. No, no, no. We're just the most free space and people that we are. And all we do here is share our love, our beauty. We're not here. We don't do debate. Oh, this one is right. This one is wrong. No, 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 no. Okay, we don't do no debate here. We just share what each and every one has as a gift to empower its people. What is your purpose that you came to the universe? Like I say all the time, you didn't just come to work, eat, sleep, and die and build some structures and die and go and live it. No, you came to build people. You came to empower. You came to share love. You came to rise up and bring your gift to support one another. If you had the gift of money and riches, share it among those that don't have, that have not been able to try that. The village girls like us that never did a makeup, and we did it. And I did it for my first time. Again, the first time I did it, the experience of my eyes being so small and tiny. But when I looked at them, I was like, wow, okay, what else? And so when you think that, oh, I'm at 50, I'm at 45, I'm at 60, I'm at 70, or I cannot do such thing. Hey, when we go on trips and visit like that, we try everything possible. So that when we come in, we're talking from our experiences. When we start teaching our boys, our daughters, how they have to connect, how they have to marry, how they have to protect and secure and live in a happy after, we have to do those experiences by ourselves. We don't just start by saying, no, don't do this when you haven't even tried it. Okay? We drink and drunk. And then so we can begin to say, oh my God, the party was hot. We do some stuff. Yeah, so, but it was good doing the waterfalls, climbing, going to the river and doing the rafting. These are all things I did like a girl growing up in my village for free. And the one only thing that made me was like, now I'm paying to get all these things. Things that I used to run away and like, oh, I'm a poor girl growing up in a poor African village. Oh, we didn't have electricity. We didn't have light. We didn't have this. And I was looking at it and I was like, oh my God, I'm the less privileged. Me and my siblings and us in the village, we were always crying and wanting to go to the cities, right? But here am I today, going back at this my middle age to pay for those things expensively to go and do the things that I had for free. That's exactly who we are, Africa. There's going to be a time where we'll be paying for those free things that we've been given by nature, by the Most High, pay dearly, even with our lives. And those are things that we had for free and we neglected them. And we said we were living in poverty. I'm a living proof to that. I used to tell you, my village stories have not started. Okay, you will love to become a village girl by every means necessary, because that's exactly what riches and true freedom is. Spirituality, nature, Mother Africa. Talk to us, the village girls. Okay? All right, too much blah, 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 blah. And good night to you now. We see ourselves tomorrow. One love. Okay, people? Good night. You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tatah. The Africa we want. Unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherlands calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.
Centuries of misguidance caused by slavery, colonization, lack of awareness of our history, and institutional disinformation, a new Africa is on the move, determined and getting organized. Africa tuko pamoja.